Parveen, the Spice Queen, and today I'm going to show you how to make a Tarka Daal. It's a really simple, quick recipe and quite sort of light on the tummy. When I've overindulged, which I often do, sometimes I'll just make a nice light dal. And when I had my children, I was healing. Mum used to make me a dal just with boiled rice, add extra turmeric because it's said to have really good healing properties. So with a Tarka Daal, you may have had it in restaurants and takeaways. It's so popular. It's one of the most popular things I make for my friends, for my clients, and when I'm catering. Let's go through the ingredients. So we have here 250 grams of red split lentils. And you think, why do they call them red when they're clearly orange? But they're red split lentils. We have 6 tablespoons of oil, 2 medium-sized onions which I've sliced. We're going to use that for the tarka, which is called a tarka, which is actually frying of the onions. We have 6 cloves of garlic, which I've crushed, salt to season, and coriander. Now actually, my cameraman's saying he doesn't like coriander. Well, if you don't like it, Mark, leave it out. It's not a problem. Okay, so what I would do now is I would pre-wash these lentils. And what I want to do is now add boiling water. You're adding about 850 ml of boiling water. And boiling so we can bring it to the boil immediately. Okay, so that goes in. And what happens is, oftentimes, depends on the type of lentil you're using, is you'll get sort of a starchy residue, because lentils contain residue, starch, and you'll get a starchy residue. So I'm going to bring that to the boil and sort of remove all the starchy residue, and then I'm going to add my spice bag. Now this contains chili, turmeric, fenugreek, and a tiny bit of tandoori powder. If you want to mix your own, then mix your own. If you don't want to do, and you want something easy, just add the spice bags. It's as simple as that. So while that's boiling, I want to go through lentils with you. And I get lots of emails and lots of questions about lentils. Traditionally, you can use any type of lentil that you like. We are, for this recipe, using a Tarka Daal. We're making a red split lentil. Then we have the chickpea lentil, which is quite nutty in flavour and has a nice little bite, which I quite like. Sometimes I'll add a tablespoon to my Tarka Daal. Chickpea lentil, not to be confused with chickpeas. And then there's this green lentil. And green lentils have a very earthy, full of iron, and they have an irony, earthy taste, which is, obviously, it is what it is. A lot of my vegan and vegetarian friends will have the dal. So that's a variation of dal that you can use, but to be honest, you can use any kind of lentil that you like. Okay, now so you can see that's boiled now, and there is a little bit of residue, so I just want to take that off because I want my dal to look nice and clean. Okay, I know some people like just mix it in. Ooh, not good. Okay, so just literally get a spoon and take it off. And it separates quite easily. And then what you're left with is that lovely, beautiful golden yellow dal underneath. So a couple of more spoons. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add the spices now. Okay. There's lots of different recipes and I get lots of emails about how to do this. So this is just my way of doing it and I think it works. So in goes the spice bag. So in here we have chili powder, turmeric, dried fenugreek. I have to read my own spice bag, but I make them all the time. This works. It's like a little, just perfect. No measuring, no roasting, no grinding. Just literally throw it in. In it goes. That's it. Just add those spices and instantly you can see the colour changes. It's just that beautiful golden yellow colour that you associate with Tarka Daal actually. And that's it. All we have to do now is simmer that for about 30 minutes. Okay, so in true Blue Peter style, here's what I made earlier. Excuse me a minute while I lift that up. So if we open the lid of this, now that has been simmering for 30 minutes. So I'm going to show you the difference between that dal and that. It's all come together. Look at that. It's all come together. It's reduced down. And again, it's just all cooked through. It just looks like a soup. And that's nearly ready. Big difference. And that's all you do. Simmer. Brilliant. What I'm going to do now is fry the onions. Let's move that back. So lots of moving of pans. Now then, it's called a tarka. A tarka means tarka, which actually means infusion. So the spices are boiled in the dal, but they won't taste of anything really. Spices only they only come to life when you actually fry them off in oil. So in goes the oil. And what I'm going to do now is just add the onions. You can use rapeseed oil, sunflower oil, vegetable oil, whatever you like, but don't use olive oil actually. My friend who's Italian tells me that you shouldn't actually cook with olive oil, you should use it in its raw state. Now there's also many ways of doing this dal. I probably tend to caramelize them a little bit because I think you get a slight sweetness from the onions. So they're browning up beautifully, and what you're looking for is a golden brown colour, and that's exactly what I've got here. So I'm just turning the gas down because you don't really want to have garlic on a high heat because it burns so quickly. You have to be so careful. It gives you a bitter aftertaste, and we don't want that. Okay, so in goes the garlic. So I've crushed 6 garlic cloves there. Now then, you are, oh God, straight away. Do you know what? Anything, garlic and onion, just infusing and all, just smells gorgeous. That's why I think I like French cuisine as well. There's a lot of garlic in there. But with this garlic, you think 6 cloves, that's quite a lot of cloves of garlic. You won't taste it. You will just, the dal will have like a creamy taste, and you just won't have an aftertaste unless you burn it, which we don't want to do. Okay, give that another couple of minutes and infuse the garlic and the onions together. And I think that's it. Now what I'm going to do is add that to my pre-cooked dal already. But there's a way that my mother always used to do it, and I think a lot of Asian housewives do it as well. A lot of cooks that I know is don't tend to put the onions in the lentils. I'm just going to add a few tablespoons of lentils to the onions. Now mind the splash. Are you ready? I'm going to do it that way. And all that does is get all the flavour out from the pan. You can really smell that dal cooking now. And then what I'm going to do is put that back into the pan. You don't have to do it this way, but I just find that it's the traditional way of doing it and the way I've always done it. That is it. Once you've added the garlic and the onions, the dal's almost done. Now, if you want to be a bit decadent, which sometimes I want to be, add a bit of butter to the dal, but I prefer a little butter on my naan bread as well. Okay, in goes the coriander. In it goes. Just lovely. If you don't like coriander, you don't have to add it, but I do feel it gives it a twist. But I tell you what I've been doing recently with my dals. I've been experimenting. And I've been adding kale and spinach, and it's just delicious. Turn that down. The last thing to add is some salt for seasoning. Okay, just add the salt. And what I want now, I want the infusion to sort of like marinate and sort of like have joy together. So the onions and the garlic, the dal are all going to come together now. So give that 10 minutes. Cover and leave it alone. Come back to that in 10 minutes. So that's been 10 minutes now, and that's ready to serve. And I'm going to serve it with some naan bread. Best way to have it. So I bought these beautiful little woks, and I think they look lovely. And when I'm serving dinner for my clients, I have these little plate warmers, and it just stays hot. So you can just keep helping yourself to seconds or thirds or fourths. Okay, and that's it. That's your Tarka Daal. And that's a nice little garnish, coriander. And that's my Tarka Daal. I am Parveen, the Spice Queen. I'll see you next time.